signs of both. But what about the third type of narcissism? The malignant narcissist. In today's video, I'm going to identify the symptoms and signs of a malignant narcissist and how to uncover and understand if you have one of those individuals in your life right now. Hey there, friends. Glad to be back today. And today we're going to be talking about narcissism, okay? But we're not going to be talking about covert narcissism or overt narcissism. We're going to be talking about the third type, which is malignant narcissism or a malignant narcissist. And I find it very interesting. And the reason why I did this video is because I've worked with clients for years and years. And when we go through and deal with a family member, a spouse, or a friend that's causing trouble in their life, we usually go through the DSM and I ask them questions for narcissism, NPD, and we go down the list of the criterion. And it's interesting when I'll say, just for fun, let's go down that list of antisocial personality disorder as well. Okay, and it's interesting because especially when the person corroborates that this other person has more than 3 symptoms in the criteria on APD and more than 5 in NPD. And it's very interesting when you put those together and you begin to see a picture. Now, the malignant narcissist is that picture put together. So if you have time, take a moment, go online or get a copy of the DSM-5 and open it up and look at antisocial personality disorder and begin to go through that criterion. Next, you can pause this video and go through NPD, narcissistic personality disorder, and you can understand what I'm talking about. But there's a little more coupled into this malignant narcissist as well. And so we're going to talk about that here in today's video. So in today's video, I'm going to offer you 7 signs that you're dealing with a malignant narcissist. The first sign that you're dealing with a malignant narcissist that is not uncommon for all narcissists is manipulation. Okay, they have a tendency of using manipulation and they're highly skilled at manipulation. They're highly skilled at getting what they want from you and using you to get what they want. And I find it interesting, especially with this particular type of narcissist. They only use us for a means to an end, right? And the idea of seeing us as human beings with feelings and thoughts and beliefs and values is not part of their makeup. And so manipulating people is at their core of getting what they want, and they don't feel any remorse from it whatsoever. And I know that many of you say, well, you can find that in the covert and the overt narcissist, and yes, you can. But it's to a different degree, I believe, with the malignant narcissist. So let's talk about the second sign that you're dealing with a malignant narcissist. The second sign is that they are extremely paranoid. Now, this is very different from the covert or the overt, right? Because I don't really find that often in either one of those. But in the malignant, they're extremely paranoid. They believe that everybody is out to get them. And they don't even need any probable cause or any suspicious activity. They just feel that everyone is out to get them. Okay? And I want you to think about that because I wonder if it's a little bit because they're kind of using us to a means to an end. Do they feel that we reciprocate as they act? I don't know. But they are extremely paranoid without any suspicion. So definitely interesting and definitely a telltale sign that you're dealing with one of these individuals. The third indication is that they're quick to criticize. They're quick to criticize everybody about everything because they do everything better and they're just better than us hands down, right? That's what they think, okay, because of their superiority complex. The interesting thing, though, about the malignant narcissist, and every narcissist for that matter, but more so this particular type, is that they cannot accept and they are not open to any criticism of themselves. And I find that interesting. That's a dead giveaway, trying to give somebody some feedback, some conscious criticism, right? Definitely not handled well by these people. So definitely an indication that you're dealing with somebody with narcissism, but definitely a malignant narcissist. The fourth indication that you're dealing with a malignant narcissist is that they're sadistic in nature, right? They're a sadist. And there's 2 different types of those sadists, right? So you have the vicarious and you have the everyday. Now the vicarious is the person that lives through other people doing things like hurting people, killing people, watching it on TV or movies, right? Or maybe watching a fight or watching something like that. They're living vicariously through someone else doing it. And they're getting pleasure from watching this, okay? They're getting pleasure from it. The other is the everyday, where they're not living vicariously through anybody else. So they actually take it upon themselves to abuse other people, to hurt other people. And this also includes animals as well, right? Animals and people, the living. And they take pleasure in personally hurting people and things. And this is definitely different from the covert or overt narcissist. And that's what adds that other little piece to the puzzle when I was talking about earlier. You had the antisocial personality disorder, which is separate from sadist, right? Then you add that to it, and then you have the narcissist component. So it makes it really interesting. The fifth sign is that they have no empathy. You know how we talk about what it would be like to walk in someone else's shoes, right? That's never a thought with the malignant narcissist, right? They're not ever thinking about walking in someone else's shoes, and they're definitely not thinking about your and my plight, okay? They're not thinking about how we feel, our emotions, our feelings, because they lack guilt and they lack remorse and they don't have empathy. Because remember, even if you don't have empathy and you have guilt, it still kind of keeps you in a certain segment of society feeling bad for what you do, right? You feel bad about doing not good things, right? Because you feel guilty. Or if you have remorse, you say, I can't do that, or I feel bad about it. And then if you have empathy, you don't want to do anything to hurt somebody because you feel their pain. And so this individual has no empathy. They lack the guilt and they lack the remorse, and they're not interested in knowing how we feel anyway. The sixth indication, they're entitled. Entitlement. Now this goes for all narcissists, right? But it still paints the picture for you to understand somebody with no remorse, no empathy, no guilt, a little sadistic, right? With that antisocial personality disorder, and they're entitled. It's very interesting because think about that and you start painting this picture of what this individual looks like and acts like, and it makes it very real so you can understand, is there somebody in your life right now that is exhibiting these symptoms and signs, right? Because we need to know that information to protect ourselves. And the seventh and last indication that I want to go through in today's video is they do not take responsibility for what they do or what they say. They will project on you and they will gaslight you, okay? They are not taking responsibility, okay? So you got somebody that's completely entitled, not taking any responsibility, with no empathy, no guilt, and no remorse. And so really think about that. And so if you've been dealing with somebody, because a lot of times what happens is that when you're dealing with this type of person, you might feel as though you have brain fog when you're dealing with them, right? Because it seems like there is never any agreement that they've ever done anything wrong. And you begin to question the validity of everything that's been said in the conversation. And it's so concerning and so questionable, you kind of leave there even questioning what was even said in the conversation to begin with, and who was right and who was wrong. In these situations with these individuals, when they've done you wrong, usually, so they've done you wrong and you go and you try to talk to them and tell them that you're upset because they've done you wrong, somehow or not you end up apologizing to them, right? Because all of a sudden they turn it around to make you think there's something wrong with you. And so if you've ever been in a situation where somebody's done you wrong and you left that situation kind of apologizing, you might have been dealing with one of these individuals. But the thing is, they don't take responsibility because they think that they're above the law. They're completely entitled to whatever you have and whatever they want. And so that's what makes it extremely interesting. So really thinking about this, the combinations of all these different symptoms, right? And all these personality disorders coupled together is what makes this the malignant narcissist. Now, is the malignant narcissist in the DSM-5? No. But I do feel that it really categorizes that type of individual, and it makes it very clear as to what you're dealing with. And I think that when we have clarity, that helps us to understand, it gives us knowledge, and it helps us to better prepare and understand what we're dealing with in our day-to-day life. I hope this video has helped you. Definitely want to produce more videos on narcissism, because I think that is anything we can do to protect ourselves is key, and to understand where these people are coming from, but then to also understand kind of the limitations. Because I think a lot of you are out there trying to save the world, and I love saving the world, but there's certain people that you can't save. And remember, you have to save yourself first. Don't forget to like this video, and if you haven't already, please subscribe to my channel. I would really appreciate it. And in the comments section, let me know, have you been in contact with, related to, or worked with a malignant narcissist? And how did you deal with that day-to-day interaction? If any of you have had day-to-day interaction, as well as have you ever been in a relationship with a malignant narcissist? I'm assuming you probably have exited stage right. How did you do it? And how tough was it to get out of that relationship?